Hello folks, Stubbs here. So I had someone ask me, what type of gear do you suggest? Well, to be honest, it's hard for me to suggest to you exactly what would be great for you to be able to use. What I can do is tell you what I use, why I use it, and why I think it works well for me, and give you an idea if you think it's going to work out well for you. So what I've done is I've taken all my gear and I've labeled it out before me, and I got my little checklist here so I can use the proper names, because let's be honest, I'm not going to remember all of that off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each piece of gear that I take when I go out backpacking. Now, when I go out backpacking, gear-wise, my gear doesn't change. My gear stays the same. I bring out everything with me as if I'm going to be gone for weeks compared to if I'll only be gone for that one day. I bring everything from my sleeping system to all the clothes I could possibly need. I just personally feel for me, it's the best way that I can backpack. So without further ado, let me start to go through my gear here and explain to you what I have and why I chose it. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is what's called the big three. You'll remember, as I mentioned from my earlier video, that people call the big three is their pack, their shelter, and their sleeping system. So for my pack, I chose the Hyperlite 3400 Southwest. I really like this pack. It is made out of Dyneema, so it is very strong, very sturdy. It's water resistant. It is not waterproof. I still would suggest putting a bag inside of it to try to keep moisture out of your bag. But I definitely really enjoy this pack, and so far it's seen some miles and it's treated me well. When I ordered this pack, I also ordered the extra straps, which are what you see in the front here. I ordered those in case I felt I need to cinch something down, or in case I wanted to strap something to the outside of my pack. Right now, I'm still not 100% if that's something that I would order again if I had to, but I am finding a use for them. I also ordered with it the shoulder pouch, which is this guy right here. Now this shoulder pouch, I absolutely would suggest. My reasoning for it is that is where I carry my InReach, which is my GPS system. You could put your cell phone in there. You could put your iPad if you listen to music. I find that really, really helpful. I also like that it's got these pouches on the side, which is where I keep my water bottles. However, I have found with my short, stubby T-Rex arms, I have trouble being able to reach and get it for me. And usually my hiking buddy has to help me get these bad boys out. So that is my pack, the Hyperlite 3400 Southwest. Another way that I keep my stuff dry inside of my pack is I actually do use a pack cover. When I use anything that's rainproof, like even my rain gear, I try to go this bright orange color. Because to me, if it's raining to the point where you need to put this stuff on, there's a hard to see, dangerous atmosphere around, to where the better you're able to be seen in case you slip and fall and something happens and somebody needs to find you, the better off you are. Plus, if you put this on your pack and you set your pack down, it's going to be a lot easier to find your pack with this on it. So, my shelter. I am a huge hammock tent person. I love hammocking, especially after you've been hiking those long miles, to be able to get those feet up and get that blood draining back down to you. I sleep so much more comfortable at night. So, I use the Kammock Mantas hammock. I've slept in this thing quite a few times. I find it to be easy to set up. In my earlier video is where I show you the first time I do set it up. The one where we were at Ethan Pond, I do believe. Yes, we set up at Ethan Pond. That was my first time ever setting this up. Now, don't get me wrong. I had my hiking buddy there who had set one up before, and he was guiding me along so it would be completely lost in the sauce. However, I did not really have a difficulty of it. And if I remember right, mine had straighter lines. Just joshing you, buddy. Just joshing you. But I love this. I sleep really, really well. Now, if I'm in an area where I know I'm not going to be able to use this, I do have an alternative. For my alternative, I have the tent that you guys saw in a previous video of me setting up. This is the Zpacks Duplex tent. Very lightweight. It gets the job done. I just don't sleep as comfortable on the ground as I do in a hammock. Sleeping system. I use the Enlightenment Quilt. That's what I have right in here. As you can see, I hang it properly. You never want to leave these things in their stuff sacks, which is what this is. If you do, you will compress that and it won't have its real fill power that it's supposed to have. So I really enjoy this quilt. My reasoning for going for a quilt over going for a full-on sleeping bag is it cuts down on material. I am a smaller person, so I actually can use the quilt in a way that they're not really designed. Hear me out. So the quilt comes with a strap. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to blow up your mat, put the strap underneath your mat, strap down each side of that quilt, and you pull it tight to your mat. And that's how you're supposed to sleep with the quilt. I'm such a small guy that I actually don't have to do that. I can actually get the quilt to strap to itself, put that underneath me, and when I lie down, it seals me between that little tiny crease going all the way up and the mat itself. Maybe another time I'll do a video on my full-on sleeping arrangement. But because of that, I can cut the weight of having a full-on sleeping bag, but still sleep warm and comfortable all night. Now, because I do hammock, that cold air does get flowing underneath you all night. At which point, people make a choice. Are you going to get an underquilt, or are you going to go with an air pad? I personally chose an air pad. I found one that was big and thick enough and had a really good R value to really help keep me warm when those temperatures drop really low. Now, it's not to say it's something you need to use all the time. We've slept many of times in our hammocks and we didn't even use anything. The weather was nice. You didn't have to worry about it. But if you don't have it and you hit one of those cold nights, it is not a fun time. Maybe I'll tell you that story another time about the King's Shelter and the mistake that we made there. So for my inflatable pad, I went with the Kammick Insulated Pongo pad. Works really, really well. It's very comfortable. It fits perfectly within that hammock. I had to go with a wide pad. The first pad I bought was a little thinner and I got really wide shoulders and I just felt like my shoulders were dropping off the side of the pad the whole time. So I found that this pad being wider was a lot more comfortable. And I can also use this one if I decide to not set up the hammock and I want to just set up in a shelter, I can set this up on the ground, which was my reasoning for going away from the underquilt, because you don't have that choice if you have an underquilt. There's nothing to lie down on. You'll be just lying on the ground inside the shelter itself. So that was my reasoning for going for the blow-up pad. For a pillow, I ended up with the Outdoors Vital blow-up pillow. The main reason why I ended up with this pillow is because it came free when I ordered my Outdoor Vitals gear. And I tried it out and it works. It's comfortable. I usually take some other layer that I have and I'll try to puff around it to give me just a little bit more support. But I found this to work really well. It's very compact and it's very light. I do have another backpacking pillow, but I found this one, because it's so compact and light, to just be way more comfortable and way more convenient for me to use. So this has been my choice. For my feet, I have chosen trail shoes or trail runners over your traditional hiking boots. My reasonings for those is that they are more lightweight, they are more comfortable, and they dry out quicker. So if you get them really wet over a day of hiking and you go to set up camp, you have a chance to hang them up and have them be somewhat dry in the morning, compared to I found hiking boots take days to dry out. So for my shoes, I went with the Altra Lone Peaks. And again, I find them to be very comfortable. I have what I laugh at and call duck feet. And if you look at the front of those, they have a huge wide toe box. So I feel like my toes are not jamming together the entire time that I'm out hiking across the trail. These also, excuse them being dirty, they probably should be cleaned up a little bit here, but these also have pre-setups to be able to put gaiters on them. Gaiters is something that I haven't invested in yet, but they're definitely on the list of what I'm going to be getting. Along with those, I did get myself some micro spikes. Being here in New Hampshire, we definitely run into times when there is those icy trails. And I know I always make a joke about having one of my friends just pull me, but that's not the safe way to do it. So I finally went out and got myself a good pair of micro spikes to bring with me. For camp, I like the good old traditional sandals right here. My main reason for this is not only for camp, but any kind of water crossing that you have to do. It is always good to have something safe to have on your feet while not getting your regular climbing shoes totally soaked. So I'll slip these on and do any major water crossings I have to do, and then take them off, hang them off the back of the pack, let them dry until you get back to camp. Those sandals are Karrimor Sandels. I got them at my local EMS. And the shoes, again, are the Altra Lone Peaks. I can't talk about that wide toe box enough. They are fantastic. They're also zero drop, which is something I'll talk about in a totally different video sometime, and how zero drop works and why some people say it's great, why other people say it's not. That's not really when I go into this video, but it's just something to note that those are zero drop shoes. For clothes, we'll start right off with my rain gear. For my bottoms, I went with the Frogg Toggs. Frogg Toggs, you can find them on Amazon, you can find them on Walmart. They are cheap. They're only 20 bucks. And being that rain pants are a piece of gear, they're going to get slashed, they're going to get caught in a stick, you're going to put your knife in your pocket and accidentally rip them, they're going to get destroyed. This was an item that I know I wanted to have with me, but I wanted something cheap that I could replace easily. And I found Frogg Toggs to be the best bet. That being said, I changed out the top because I don't feel the top gets the same abuse that the bottom does, even though it will get abuse. But for the top, I went with a little bit of a better rain setup, and I went with the Antigravity Gear rain jacket. Now again, I went with that bright orange. I'm looking for that safety color. You know, if I'm wearing this, it's because the weather's bad. The last thing I want is for people not be able to see me and not be able to know where I am. This one in particular, I also got because it has, if I can find the sleeve here. Oh, it's because the sleeve is on it. There we go. It has pit zips. Pit zips are amazing. To be able to let out all that heat and steam that's brewing inside, because sometimes when it's raining, that doesn't mean it's cold. You might still be sweating, and that definitely helps air you out and makes you feel a lot better. So that is anti-gravity gear for the rain jacket. For my Loft jacket, I went for Outdoor Vitals. I've talked about this jacket in a previous video. I can go into it more depth if it's something that people are really interested in. I've tried it out a couple of times. So far, it's kept me warm, decently warm. I'm not convinced that it really can block that much wind right now. I'm going to try going out again and seeing how I feel in it. But it is definitely very comfortable. I love the fact that they come with those holes to put your thumb through so it doesn't keep sliding up your arm the entire time that you're wearing it. And it can cinch right down around your face. So it's got that pull so you can close it right down in to try to keep that heat in. Very comfortable so far. I really like it. I also have the dragon wool hoodie. So this is what I wear usually when I'm hiking. I usually save the Loft jacket for when I get to camp or if it's really, really cold. Because as you hike, you sweat. This really helps loft that sweat away. That's what it's supposed to do, to help keep you warm and help keep you dry. And I found this to be very comfortable. And again, I love the fact that they put those little thumb holes in it so it's not riding up you all the time. You just put your thumbs through that and it holds that right in place. Very comfortable. I've definitely found it to be warm. The last hike I went on was cold and windy, and the entire time hiking, this is all that I wore. I never put on that Loft until I got to where I was settling down to eat my breakfast. And that's when I put that on to really help keep me warm because I was no longer building that heat inside of this dragon wool. All right, so for underlayers, I have, for hiking, Smartwool Merino 150 bottoms, and I have a Smartwool Merino 200 top. And I have the same thing that I use just for sleeping in to completely separate them because I want to make sure no matter what, I have dry, warm clothes to put on when I go to sleep. So I will take my bottoms and tops for my Smartwool and I will put this inside of the stuff sack along with my sleeping system so that it does not get worn or see the elements other than what the sleeping system would. And it is dry and it'll help keep me warm that night. Then I have a second pair that's my hiking pair. And if it's really, really cold, I'll put on that hiking pair and hike the day in them. But I have found, given that I already have the dragon wool and I have that Loft, so far, these have not come overly important. I have worn the pants, but to wear that undershirt along with that dragon wool, it's going to have to get pretty cold for me to want it. But it's better to have it than not and get yourself in trouble. For my hiking shorts, I wear shorts all the time hiking. That is my hiking go-to. Because again, if I get cold, I put those Smartwools underneath them. For shorts, I have the Patagonia Strider Pro Running Shorts, the 5-inch. They're comfortable. They breathe really well. They dry really well. I found you got to cut the liner out in order to have it really fit comfortable because I do wear special underwear and I wouldn't want the underwear along with this liner, and I also wouldn't want just the liner. So I do cut the liner out. I found these shorts to be amazing. So speaking of my briefs, I use the, and excuse me for trying to pronounce this word, Ex Officio men's sports briefs. They're really good at wicking sweat away. They're really good at wicking moisture away. And they help me from chafing. And they keep me comfortable the entire time that I'm hiking. For socks, I bring 3 pairs with me. I bring 2 light Darn Tough socks. They are what I would consider hiking socks. That's these right here. These are to be swapped out through the days. For sleeping, I have a much thicker pair. And this again goes in that bag along with all of my sleeping gear to make sure it stays dry and and to make sure it'll help keep me warm. I also carry with me a Merino wool gaiter. This is to help keep my neck and my face warm. And also, in today's day and age, it's something you can wear into town and go into stores and keep your face covered in case you're in an area where that is required. To keep my head warm, you got my nice old beanie here. This was actually a gift from my hiking buddy. It is the Appalachian Gear Company, their alpaca wool hat. Very comfortable. This is really all I've been sporting since I got it. I love it. It's really lightweight. It definitely helps keep me warm, and I think it's pretty stylish. I like the gray color. It's almost like he knew my color style when he bought it for me. Thanks, buddy. For my hands, I have the North Face gloves. These bad boys right here. They definitely do their job. They keep my hands nice and warm. They also have, and I'm not sure how they make it, but they have that technology there where you can still use your smartphone. So they say. I have not been able to really get it to work so far. I don't know if maybe my little sausages just can't get down to the end of it. Who knows? But I also don't have a problem with just taking my hand out of the glove and just operating the phone and putting it back in anyways. I'm fine with that. But they do claim that you can use it. So maybe if you got the proper size hands, it'll work out for you. And the last thing for clothing that I carry is a bandana. I find bandanas to be really good to be able to wipe your face, wipe sweat away, just to put on your head to keep the sun from beating on you. You get it soaked and then put it on your head to try to cool yourself down. I think that these things are absolutely phenomenal and have so many uses out on the trail that I always make sure to bring at least 2 when I go out. Back that train up. All right. So moving on to like food and water and cook gear and stuff like that. For my cook stove, I chose the Pocket Rocket Deluxe stove. So far, it has worked great. I haven't had any problems with it starting right up for me. I haven't had any problems with it falling over, things falling off it. I really, really enjoy this stove. The canister is just one I happened to pick up. It wasn't really anything major. I've actually seen guys carry like the bigger canisters in case they know they're going to be out for a while. They just accept the extra weight, given that they don't have to buy more canisters. And I'm kind of a fan of that. But so far, this is the one I've used. I will give a little tip, I guess. I always stored these inside of my pot. It was easier, I thought, just to put it in there. But when I get to my pot, I'll show you. If your pot has a little bit of water in it, and the water sits around that edge, you can start to see how that edge is rusting. And what I've found is storing it inside of your pot, the next thing you know, you start to get a metal taste almost as you're eating. And there's actually rust that ends up down inside of your pot. So I would suggest to not do that. Do not store this in your cooking pot that you eat out of. For my eating utensil, I have the titanium spoon. I am a spooner, not a forker. I found forks, if anything, are more irritating on the trail than not. And really to use the prongs and a spoon, shovel it in, get that food in there. I'm totally fine with that. This is really lightweight. It's long. So as you're eating out of those ready-made meal bags, you're not jamming your hand all in there and getting all juice all over everything. Or I swear you feel like you're cutting yourself trying to get into them. I really like this spoon. Definitely would suggest the titanium spoon. Super lightweight. For my pot, this was the ridiculous thing I bought for myself. I say ridiculous because this is the Vargo Titanium Bot Pot. It's very expensive, way more expensive than you'd ever need to spend on a pot. I have a grease pot here that you can turn into a cooking pot. There's actually another lady, Dixie, who she's on YouTube. If you can find her, go watch her. She started out in the Appalachian Trail and now she makes videos full time. She made that pot for like $10. This cost me $100. Way too much money. But it is a really nice pot. It has a ring there, right? So it will seal. So you can cold soak in this if you decide that you want to cold soak. Yeah, see, there it is. See that nasty old ring in there? That's from putting that gas can in there. Don't do that. You're wrecking your stuff and you're making everything taste like metal. But anyways, I do really like this pot. Would I buy it again? Probably, because that's just me. If I find good gear, I want good gear. And I found this to be really good gear. It's lightweight. It's very sturdy. It's got measurements on both the outside and the inside. So if you need a certain amount of water, you know exactly what you're using. And again, it's got that seal ring, so you can seal it right up if you want to cold soak, which, you know, I'll try cold soaking someday. Not right now. It's winter. We'll wait. But I really like it. It is a great pot, and if you want to throw $100 at something that you only need about 15, go right ahead. It's worth it if that's what you want to spend the money on. Bonus item I have on here that I didn't have on my list is this little coffee cup, collapsible coffee cup. At first I thought even carrying this, I was like, I don't need more stuff. You don't need more weight. You don't need more gear, blah, 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 blah. But there is something to be said about having breakfast and having a hot coffee to drink as you're eating your breakfast. To kind of have the two together. It's strange that it's like that important, but it kind of is that important at the same time. You know, and plus, if you decide to cold soak, so if I'm cold soaking, now I can't use that container. I can stop and have a cup of coffee somewhere, like on the top of a mountaintop as I'm chilling out, and not have to worry about taking up that pot that's already doing something else. For my food bag, I have the Zpacks large food bag. I wanted a food bag that I can go out for a week and carry enough food with me. And that's why I carried this bag. I will also say that I am in New England. Over here, we don't have the grizzly bears that you all have on the West Coast, nor do we have the regulations because of it. So we don't have to carry a bear can, if you will. These bags are just fine. So I really like using them. They're really lightweight and they get smaller and smaller and easier to pack as you go along. And as long as you use it properly, you will be well protected from any animals. If you use that Bermuda triangle and you use the proper hanging techniques, these work great. So I definitely would suggest that bag for sure. There I go telling you I'm not going to actually suggest anything, but I kind of am. It's what you asked for, right? You wanted me to suggest some stuff, so this is what I got for you. This is my bear hanging kit. I will take another video to show you how to use this, but it basically, you put rocks in it, you throw it up over a branch, and you attach one end of your bag, and you pull them, and this you tie down, and it hangs your bag up the tree away from the bears. For the cheap money that these things are, they save your butt trying to do it with just 550 cord or whatever. These are all pre-made, ready to go, and they're lightweight. All right, for my water, I have gone with the Katadyn, and this here is the 3 liter. Now, when I first got it, I got it because that's all I could get in Katadyn. It was hard to get the smaller bottles. However, since then, I'm glad I got the bigger size. I got more water that I can fill up and squeeze out. I got a bigger thing that I can move around, and it's just, to me, it is a lot easier. So I fill this up, and then I squeeze this into smart water bottles, and that's what I carry. And I use the smart water bottles for a reason, because my backup is the Sawyer Squeeze, and I keep that in my medical kit. The Sawyer Squeeze can screw right on to the smart water bottles. So that's kind of why I've chosen to use that setup along with this one, because it gives me that backup source in case something happens here and this no longer can do its job. Also, inside of that food bag, I carry my cleaning, another bandana. I use this to clean my pot out, to clean anything that's food residue. Then you rinse it off, hang it off your pack, let it dry, and continue to use it. Do not mix the two, the one that you normally wear, the one that you're wiping your face off with, because if you're like me and you like hot sauce, it's the last thing you want to be wiping across your face is some nice hot sauce and be opening up your pores with that nice hot red peppers. Healthcare. I keep this in my food bag, right? Because it smells. And if it smells, it attracts animals. So this is my tooth cleaning kit, all right? I got my toothpaste. I got a toothbrush that I cut down. I honestly didn't cut it down for weight. I cut it down to get it to fit into the tiny bag. And I also have floss. Floss is great not only for your teeth, but any quick sewing jobs you have to do. Floss does a really good job of holding itself together. So if you need to quickly stitch something, floss and then duct tape over it out in the trail, you can't beat it. Here, I have my med kit. I'm not going to go through everything that I have in this med kit. If you look at a quick glance, I do have an emergency blanket. That's what that orange is. Just in case something happens, I can wrap myself in that. And again, I can be seen. I got backup stakes in case I need them. A massage ball, like the Sawyer Squeeze, like I mentioned before. I got a patch kit in here for my my pad, and yeah, other health items that you might need. That's where I keep all of this. Separate from it, a totally different bag, because I don't want it mixed with any kind of first aid I was going to use, is my DEET. I do carry DEET. I know a lot of people say it's bad for you. It can be bad for the environment. We have major ticks around here, and DEET is the best way to ensure that you're not picking them off your butt all night. And to me, it's worth the protection. So I do use DEET. Poop kit. So here is my poop kit. I have the Deuce. The Deuce is a great shovel. It's been used many times. It's sturdy, it's strong, it's lightweight. This I usually keep on the outside of my pack, so it's quick to get to, because you do not want to be searching for this bad boy if you really, really need it. And then inside, I just carry TP that can be buried and given back to Mother Nature out in the woods. That brings us to the electronics. Everybody kind of has fun with this one. I obviously have my cell phone. On my cell phone, I have a bunch of apps. I'm not going to go over those apps right now. My warning with apps is most you need cell phone service in order for them to use. Far Out is the only one that I know of. Used to be Gut Hook, where you don't. But I'd like to go into all those apps in a different video. But I use my phone. I'm obviously recording with my phone all the time, so I can make these videos for you guys. With my phone, I have this neat little stand. I really like this guy. This is the, here's another name for you. Exonvo Lobster Pod Camera Tripod. Sure. These little legs move around. They can pinch around things. They can hold on to like a tree branch or something. So you can set yourself up and get your little silly videos of yourself out there, or show whatever awesome sceneries that you found so that people like you can enjoy them. I really like it. I found it to be really sturdy so far. I haven't had any problems with. The one I'm using right now is my large tripod setup that I don't take out in the woods. I've tried taking them out in the woods and it's broken. This is my second set now, and even this one's already giving me problems. I also probably could get a better setup, but I don't want to spend the money because I already have one that works great out in the woods. So I have my house set up that you got to be delicate with, and then I have that one that can take a good beating and still get its job done. For my headlamp, I have the 3 Trees LED headlamp. Really, really like this headlamp. It can move, so it is sitting flat on your face. You can turn it down to get parts of the ground without having to kink your neck the whole time. It can flash. It can go in between regular bright light and red light. It is very bright. If you watch my night hike video, all the light in that video is from this, all of it. So it is definitely bright. It's definitely really good. The battery lasts a long time. I've yet to have it die on me. It always ends up getting charged back up before it dies. So I really like this, and I really would suggest this. There I go again, suggesting. Well, that's what you wanted. For my GPS system, though I do use gut hook now far out, nothing beats this inReach. You're going to be spending some money to get it, but once you got it, you got it. That's it. It does have a subscription that comes with it if you want, to where you can send a text message and receive text messages in areas that you don't have cell phone service. And also, in order to use this feature, you need a subscription as well. And that is the SOS feature, which is this little side button. You pull that aside and you press that button inside there. That alerts immediately everybody in your area that you are in trouble and you are in danger. And it's like a 911 call to every type of mutual aid out there. And someone will come and find you and save you. I cannot say enough how much these are needed. You don't even need one this big. I chose it big because I wanted the map features, because I can actually use this to map out, again, in case my far out or gut hook maps aren't working. I can run max off of this. It's a compass as well. Downside is it's all electronic, so you got to make sure you keep it charged. But this is another device that I found holds a really long charge because you're not using it all the time. You're only using it when you really need to. Definitely love this Garmin inReach. The subscription for it is $40 a month for unlimited text messaging. That's better than your cell phone. So to me, that is something that's an absolute must-have. I also carry the Flextail Tiny Pump. I use this to pump up that mattress that I got. It's also got a little light on it, so you can, if I can get my fingers around it, so you can hang it down and it will light up whatever tent space you're in or hammock space or whatever you're doing. I found these to be awesome. I at first always just blew up my pad. However, a lot of people claim that by blowing air into your pad, you can actually ruin your pad that way. Either bacteria or frozen particles, stuff can go inside it to damage it, where they claim if you use this, that water and that spit from you isn't going into it. Plus, if you're all huffing and puffing and tired from hiking all day, it's awfully nice to be able to just press a button and have a little device that will fill up your sleeping system for you in the matter of seconds, compared to you blowing in the thing for 5 minutes to try to get that blown out. For my charging systems, for my device, I have the Anker. I originally bought 2 and carried 2. They're kind of heavy. They're like a pound each. But I at first was so concerned about losing power. I think this one is a 2000 essential 20,000 is what it says on it. I'm not 100% sure on that. It says 20,000 on the back. That's what it might be. I'll double check and put it somewhere in this nice space over here. Let's drop it in there. But I found that this is all I need on all the hikes I've been on so far and all the charging I've done so far. This has been great. I think. Oh, I knew I was missing something. Another thing that wasn't on my list. So I carry inside of my pouch a very small Leatherman. And I mean very small. The thing's only like that big. It's got tweezers on it. It does have a little knife. But I personally carry this for a knife. The price of it, I couldn't even tell you. I've had this thing for years. It's small. It's lightweight. You can have it on your hip. You can put it on that center chest strap that goes across you. You can put it over on your side shoulder strap. Personal self-defense, I think it's important. Luckily, I've never been in a situation on the trail where that was really a concern, but it's always better to have the gear rather than need it and not have it. Plus, you know, when do knives not come in handy anyways? You got to cut open a bag, you got to do whatever. So I think a good knife is always important. And to me, this knife is the perfect size. I think that's the perfect size blade to have with you out on the trail. Not too big, not too bulky. I'm not looking to cut down trees. I'm just looking for self-defense and little jobs I need to do. So folks, that is my, oh no, I forgot my friends right behind us. Silly me. All right. So the last item and my best friends on keeping me going down the trail are my Black Diamond trekking poles. I think trekking poles are definitely the trail booster behind you. They're helping to push you the entire time. They're helping you to get to those tall peaks, helping you keep stable. I don't know how many times I've just about fallen flat on my face, and you get those in the last minute and hold yourself up so you don't eat it going down the trail. I think these things are phenomenal and pretty much a must-have anytime I go out. Do you need these Black Diamond ones? Probably not. Again, I spent some money on getting exactly what I wanted. I've had people tell me that they've had $20 trekking poles that did an amazing job compared to these ones that are like $180. So really, it just depends on exactly what you want. Do your research on them and see what kind of poles are really going to work out for you. So folks, that is all of my gear. That is my entire loadout. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry this one was a little bit more of a live session because I had to go through everything, but at the same time it was kind of fun. It was like we were hanging out in my room and just talking about gear, which I'm down to do anytime. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it if you will. And I'm also on TikTok, check that out, and find me on Facebook, and plus there's stubbysquatch.com. I appreciate all your support. I'm hoping you guys are really liking these videos. I'm really liking making them, and I'm really having a good time. So you folks, have a good one.